Under the Obama administration, the U.S. has allowed a cap of 100,000 refugees. This is already low in comparison to Germany, who took in 3 times as many. However, upon election, Trump has cut that number nearly in half, admitting only 45,000 refugees, the lowest admissions cap in history. Moreover, if things continue at the same rate, only half as many refugees will be admitted into the U.S. Not to mention, Trump's continuous and excessive pauses have resettlement groups in chaos. After the travel ban that banned refugees and immigrants from 11 predominantly Muslim countries, the 90-day security review, then the 120-day pause, the U.S. now allows refugees from those 11 countries back in, but with intense security measures. Applicants are left in confusion as they have to repeat the admissions process yet again. There are 3 main viewpoints concerning the refugee crisis. The first viewpoint proposes the U.S. act as a global leader in accepting more refugees into U.S. borders. The second viewpoint affirms that the U.S. can strike a balance in which refugees are sent financial aid but are refused entry into the U.S. to ensure national security. In contrast, the third viewpoint argues that since the U.S. is not directly involved in the conflict, it is not our responsibility to either aid financially or physically, and would only bring about more debt and conflict. Admittedly, there was a bias in my straw polls, as those surveyed were predominantly Democrats and Muslims themselves. 100% supported the U.S. increasing their role in the refugee crisis. 90% supported resettling refugees in U.S. borders across the board. However, opinion diverged when asked how close would they allow refugees to live with them. Although 75% reported very close, the more diversity in the last question demonstrated the complexity of the issue. Accepting more refugees is surely the best course of action. In accepting more refugees into the country, the U.S. will experience major economic growth, encourage other nations to accept more refugees, and gain ammunition against ISIS. According to Rescue.org, entrepreneurship is 50% higher in Syrian refugees than those born in the U.S. Instead of taking jobs, they make them. In addition, the U.S. will gain $12,000 more in taxes. Secondly, accepting refugees not only supports allies like Jordan, Germany, and Turkey in ending the crisis, but may also persuade allies to do so as well. Third, accepting refugees deters ISIS in their goals. By refusing refugees entry, the U.S. is supporting ISIS's narrative of a cruel and xenophobic West, attracting more members all over the world. While the West asserts an apparent correlation between Islam and terrorism, whatever that is, or that refugees have backwards morals, the media ignores the notion that refugees are 44% less likely to commit crime, and only 3% of terrorists use refugees as a venue for infiltration. Lastly, being founded off of immigrants, the Constitution exemplifies democratic values and liberty. It is highly hypocritical that the U.S. would turn its back on humanity now. By accepting refugees, the U.S. has nothing to lose. Now the real question is, will America realize this before it's too late?